Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, June 21st, 2021. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. You'll notice right here the ES has sold off in the previous session on a Friday there, and what we've seen here so far today is a failed new low. We're seeing an extreme reversal buy signal develop, and we're seeing price bounce off of the previous month's midpoint, leading to a return back to back toward at least the previous session's midpoint. This is a significant area right here to watch now, that we've had that fade after trend day push itself back toward the mid. This is a zone where bears would look to defend for a shot at dropping this thing back down and perhaps seeing further expansion to the downside. If what we've seen is over, and we've only seen, a little 1 to 5 day pullback here from pivot high to pivot low, then this midpoint right here will continue to remain intact. You'll see price continue to hold above 41.50, and you'll see this thing push higher back toward 42.23s. If it's not done, if this market turns into more of a sell-off here, then you're going to see bears come in at this zone here. You're going to see price break back below 41.50s, and then perhaps even see new lows on the day, which could lead to further selling pressure toward the previous month's low toward the back half of this month. So this is going to be an important zone right here to watch. Again, the previous month's midpoint, an important pivot here, which if it holds, it leads to a return back higher. A failure there opens up a return back toward lows. Let's take a look here at the NQ now. Alright, here's the NQ. You'll notice here with the NQ, more near the highs than the ES. Obviously this one was rallying Thursday after the FOMC. On Friday had a pullback precisely to the midpoint of Thursday's range and stayed in that range all day long. Today you're seeing a bit of weakness come into play here. That's the previous session's midpoint. You can see the top end of today's range, and you've also seen just general weakness in that area. So right now, barely holding on the FOMC key level here. We want to see how price responds from here, because if there's any failure to hold 14K, that could open up a return to at least retest this low, followed by what could be a bounce. Failure to hold 13.8 starts to rotate this thing down even farther across the range, with the potential to go all the way back toward the bottom of the larger traded range. So right here, continuing to watch previous session's midpoint. A failure to get above that zone could open up a bit more weakness ahead. Let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude oil right now down about 0.5%. This is also following a failed new high that has developed so far today. Obviously, crude oil has been very, very bullish. That's the move here. You can see the 8-period average has continued to hold this entire way. What we're seeing right now, two things here. Number one, a failed high above Friday's high. So anytime you get a push beyond the previous session's high and you see a rejection there, a strong rejection, and then you start to push through the midpoint, that's when there's a potential to see an outside day to the downside. So that midpoint is going to be very, very important here as price approaches it. Right now inside the pivot range, and 70.85 is that mid, and that's right where we're at the moment. So we are seeing a rejection of the previous session's high. We are also seeing a rejection of a retest of the FOMC key level from below, which is 72 even. And again, that midpoint is going to be very important. A failure there could open up a bearish outside day down, even if it's just for a matter of minutes. But that's the potential here, again, if 70.85 is taken out. Overall, this market remains very strong. If we were to see additional selling pressure, there's still a good zone here to retest before this perhaps turns around and rallies toward that 76, 72 target that we have as the key range 100% target. All right, let's take a look now at gold futures. Gold right now up a bit, but sitting right below the previous session's midpoint. you can see this has been an aggressive sell-off here, not only throughout the month where the previous high and then the previous close had been offered, but also heading into the FOMC key level and post FOMC, we've gotten very aggressive moves. We're now sitting on these lows. We've taken out the previous month's low. I mentioned in our room 1760 was the key level to watch here to see if we get a little bounce. And right now, 1761.20 is Friday's low. We're inside day at the moment. It doesn't look like a classic rejection here yet, so that means we may see more selling pressure. But if we close forcefully through this midpoint today, the previous session's midpoint, that could be enough to turn this thing around. So today's key level, basically 1780. Can this thing push through 1780 and close beyond it today? Otherwise, we could be looking at more of a move downward until we find that strong rejection. Alright, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.